Velvet Whisper presents When Darkness Whispers Darling, a dark romance narration. Not every love lives in the light. Some are born in silence, some in shadows. This is one of those loves. Welcome to Velvet Whispers. Tonight, we slip into a story where darkness doesn't haunt, it loves. Story begins. They said the house was just old, that the creaking floors and flickering lights were nothing but time collapsing it on itself. But Eve knew better, because some nights, when the moon was sharp and the air too still, something would call her name. Not out loud, no. It was gentler than sound. A whisper behind the bones, a pull in the soul. It began with a voice she couldn't place, but somehow already missed. Darling, the word spoken like it had tasted her lips once, long ago. Soft, possessive, ruined. She told herself it was a dream, that her loneliness was crafted in illusions again. But every night, the air in the room grew colder. The shadows moved with purpose, and the mirror cracked itself one evening, splitting her reflection in two. Written in the mist of her breath were words she hadn't spoken. I never left. Then she saw him, not in the hallway, not in the corners, in the mirror, behind her. He stood tall, dressed in shadows, with eyes like storm-wrecked oceans. Sad, familiar, unbearably beautiful. She didn't scream. She didn't move. She whispered with trembling lips and a heart that somehow remembered. Kyle? He said nothing, only looked at her like he'd been waiting lifetimes. And in his silence, pieces of her another life began to bloom in her mind like blood roses. Laughter beneath candlelight, a kiss stolen under threat, two hearts promising to love, even if it killed them. And it did. They were lovers once, forbidden, haunted, cursed. Their love was so fierce The world called it unnatural. They were torn apart by fire and betrayal, and she had been reborn to forget. But Kyle, he stayed behind, a ghost of devotion trapped in the silence she slept beside. He told her without words, "You saw, you did find me again, and you did." Every time she closed her eyes, he was there, not haunting, holding, loving, waiting. She spoke to him now in breath on windows, in ink on torn pages, in the stillness between songs. And always he answered, "Love me even if it ruins you." One night, when the veil between worlds thinning, he appeared, real enough to touch. And when she placed her hand on his chest, the world trembled. "If I stay," she whispered, "what happens?" "Everything breaks," he said, "but so does the loneliness." She looked at him, the ghost she once kissed in another lifetime, the shadow who never stopped calling her darling, and she smiled, not with fear, but surrender. "Then let it all break," she said. "Just don't let go of me again." And as the walls cracked and the candles died, she kissed him, and the darkness whispered back, "Mine." The next morning, her bed was untouched, her room was cold, the mirror shattered completely, but scratched into the wood where her hand once rested, were words that pulsed like a heartbeat. Some souls are not meant to live, only to find each other again. The end. The darkness whispered, she listened, but because sometimes the heart remembers what the mind forgot, and some love stories were never meant to for daylight. If this story touched something quiet in you, leave a whisper below. Subscribe for more tales from the dark, the divine, and the forgotten. This was Velvet Whispers, where love always finds its echo. Thank you and good night.